Welcome to the FirstBank Fintech Podcast. This is a show about intelligent discussions with brilliant minds and pioneers of banking and fintech or financial technology in Nigeria. I'm your host, Fisayo Fusudu, and I'm joined with the super amazing co-host, Tomike. Tomike, how's it going?
We said we're not using super amazing today. You
we
told me you were going to get more.
I'm going to get more. It's in the bag.
Okay, I'll manage it for now. I'm good. Welcome to the show, Fisayo. And of course, our super amazing guest on the show today is none other than the Deputy Managing Director of FirstBank, Gbenga Shobo.
Good day.
Good.
Hi, how are you?
We're fine, thank you. Good day, our super amazing guest.
I like all these big names you're using in your program.
Interesting. So let's start from the bottom. I can see you're wearing First Money.
Yes,
Is it
so.
First Money or First Mobile?
First money.
First Money, okay, First Money. So tell us about FirstBank. I mean, how I would describe FirstBank is different from how Fisai would describe FirstBank, but we have the privilege of having the Deputy Managing Director of FirstBank. So we want to hear you talk about FirstBank from the Deputy Managing Director perspective.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
FirstBank, the first thing everybody knows about FirstBank is that we've always been here.
Yes.
We've been here for 127 years. So everybody has one or two relationships with FirstBank. Because of that legacy, people tend to think of us as this old bank, but actually, it's much different than that. We're more modern than even the much younger banks that you realize. So FirstBank, we have the most number of customers in the country. We have about 33 million customers. We have the largest number of branches, about 600 odd branches. We have about 130,000 agents.
Wow.
So that makes us the bank with the largest network in the country. But that also brings opportunities for us. That means we are in touch with nearly every Nigerian. We have agents in every community. Wow. We have branches in every community. So we are part of Nigeria, a big part of Nigeria.
I like that. And we've been having conversations around financial inclusion. How is FirstBank supporting the growth of financial inclusion in Nigeria?
I think we're the foremost institution in the country supporting that.
Love to see it.
We created First Money, and that's about 3 years ago, and those are the First Money agents which you see everywhere. We have about 130,000 First Money agents. That's the largest bank-led agency network in Africa. And that's just in 3 years.
Wow.
We've done about 750 million transactions, about 15 trillion naira worth of transactions. That's about $30 billion. And so people, when you look at FirstBank, you really just underestimate who we are. But that's what that agency network and the brand network does, is that it's managed to create financial inclusion. And the good thing about that is that we've also created so many jobs. For each agent which we've created like 2 jobs, because the owner of the agent itself, then there's somebody else who deals with it. So that's about 300,000 jobs. So financial inclusion, FirstBank, it's the same.
Forefront. Oh, great.
Very, very interesting. When you were speaking, I was going to, in my head, I'm like, this is definitely one of the pinnacles of financial inclusion. Definitely. The fact that there are so many agents, and the concept of financial inclusion and open banking. So what does open banking mean to you, and the ideologies and the concepts? How can it aid or improve the financial sector?
Okay, I'm going to try and interpret that in a very layman way of doing things. It allows us as a commercial bank leverage that 30 million number of customers which we have. We will work with partners, open that home customer base up to other partners in the economy. Not only fintechs, partners. Imagine I can open up my 30 million number of customers to, let's even say, a hospital, and I'm really going worldwide here to an hospital. So that means those 30 million number of customers can actually access medical services from a hospital just because they're FirstBank customers. So I share an API, for example, with a hospital, and everybody can communicate with the doctor. And I've gone past. So for me, open banking is that it just opens commercial banking to various partners in the industry, in the economy, for us to do things together.
And what sort of opportunities do you see for banks within an open banking region?
I'm a traditional bank. So what do? I open accounts, I take in deposits, I lend, I do some other commercial banks, do transfers, things like that. What this does is that it allows me to do things that a traditional bank would not necessarily be able to do today. Again, I open myself up to an insurance. So if you want to pay insurance, you can get a policy from somebody as long as regulation allows. Like just said of doctors.
Yeah.
It just opens the whole economy to our customers and to banks. Things we wouldn't normally be able to do, we will now be able to do.
Interesting. You mentioned regulation just now. So what role do you think, what role does regulation play in open banking?
Regulation is very, very important. It gives a level playing field, standards.
Yeah.
I'll quickly flip back into financial inclusion. When we started thinking about agency bank about 7 years ago, we couldn't really move ahead because regulation wasn't very clear. But the central bank led by Governor Emefiele did a great job in putting the regulation in place. Immediately the regulation was there, we were clear what we could do and what we could not do. And we focused on it, and you can see we have the biggest agency network, bank-led agency working in Africa. The same thing would happen to open banking. If regulation pops up, we'll be clear what we need to do. Compliance will be clear what you need to do, what kind of transactions can I do, what kind of fees, what kind of terms, what kind of conditions will you need to do. So regulation is very important. I'm very happy again that the CBN led by Governor Emefiele is working to finalize that so that we can all just go. We started little bits of open banking, but we're all very cautious. Nobody wants to go and do something that will not follow.
True. And let's talk about some of the achievements lately. I mean, there have been several milestones for FirstBank. Would you share some of those milestones with us?
For me, the last, especially 6 years, the agency banking business has been, in 3 years, you grow the fastest, you grow the largest bank-led agents network in Africa. That's big. That's big. $30 billion worth of transactions, 70 million number of transactions. That's major. And people were telling us, no, it's not possible. You can't do agency banking in Nigeria. And we said, look, we're unique. That network, which I told you of, the branch network, our legacy. So we're basically unique in Nigeria when it comes to banks. We're everywhere. So we could easily connect all the communities to our agents. The agents are our customers. Their father was their customer. Their grandfather was their customer. So it was easy basically to sort of work together and get that done. The next thing I think we've done pretty well in FirstBank, again, you look at us as an old bank, but you do realize that 80% of the transaction we do in FirstBank today is digital. Digital, our transaction, 80%. So what we've done in the last 6 years or so is be able to convert all our customers from those card-carrying, ledger type people. We move them onto our USSD channel, move them onto our First Mobile channel. And everybody, the mass market person in the street is doing transfers using USSD, doing First Mobile. So we're moving to another level now. We've just launched our Lit app. That's a little bit more youth-based. You guys will have fun playing with it and things like that. So yes, I'll say agency banking and digital banking. That's where I think in the last few years, FirstBank has really excelled.
And many of these milestones and these achievements, you mentioned earlier that some people said it was impossible. Obviously, it seemed impossible. So what factors would you give credit to that made these things possible? What do you think has been the driving force for these achievements?
I think what we've done is that we looked at our competitive advantage. And I've told you, our competitive advantage is that we're everywhere.
Yeah.
I have major brand network. And I realized that, look, if we built on that branch network agency, and if we worked with communities together, we will be able to win. And that's just what we did. So we looked at our legacy. Like I said, we're unique, we're different. What others might want to do might not happen. But for us, we just look where were we the strongest? And we leveraged on that. So our retail banking network, we leveraged on that.
Okay. So, moving on to, this is the FirstBank Fintech Podcast. And you mentioned digital, not too long ago, and we have the rise of digitization, technology, and the rise of fintechs. Do you think their valuation is enough to consider them bigger than banks, for instance? And
that's a trap.
and how is FirstBank, working with fintechs?
Okay, valuation wise, it's two different industries. So we're very regulated. I have minimum capital, I have to keep liquidity ratio, I have to keep some compliance rules. Because of that, the kind of things I can do a fintech, and I can't do a fintech can do. Because of that flexibility, I think investors see that. They see for example, the population in the country, 200 million people, networks, digital networks are being opened. So they see that, and I see it too. So I really don't feel, I feel that the valuation is, these investors, they know what they're doing. So I think the valuations are fine. But again, it's just two different industries and you can't compare capital. For us, that's why this open banking thing is very important. And that's why we have taken it as a topic this year. We're a commercial bank, and we'll always be a commercial bank. But we realize that in order for us the future is digital.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. There are limits to what I can do based on regulation and other things. Mm-hmm. So partnering with the fintechs and other partners in the industry is a no-brainer. So we've seen that collaboration is our watchword when it comes to open banking and the future. We will collaborate with any partner within regulation that will allow us to improve the products, services, and customer experience of our customers. That's the way we've taken it. So that's why this is so important to us, and it's a topic we've chosen this year for.
True. Speaking of the future, let's talk about the in-era. We have the central bank coming to digitize the naira. I read about the fact that we're partnering with a Bit Inc., a Barbados company, to digitize minting the currency. There's words that to save costs for printing money. How do you see this impacting the future of spending or transfers or just general usage of money, transactions in Nigeria?
We've all agreed on this table that the future is digital.
Yeah.
The future is digital. So, and remember, maybe 80 years ago or 100 years ago, it was cowrie shells. After that, it became, maybe it was trade and barter before that.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. So all this cash we're seeing now, our kids, our children's children, it might be that we're talking about cowrie shells and they start talking about the naira notes and dollar notes. I suspect that in future, it will be this e-money we're talking about. So I'm happy that the central bank and the governor has taken the initiative to go in this space. They've just brought out a draft. Discussions are taking place among all the stakeholders to see how perfectly it will work. But I think it's a great initiative. One of the first in the world. I know some of the islands in Caribbean have this e-money, but most other people are just said, or regulators are just talking about it. They have actually actualized something, and it's something that's about to be launched. So we must give kudos to the central bank for that initiative, and we'll all work with them to make sure that it works.
Fisayo threw it to the future. I want to throw it back to the past and speak on behalf of those youths that are watching and like, did he always think he was going to be like this? Or when he was much younger like I was, did he think it was possible to get to where he is today and all of that? What was it like growing up for you? Did you always dream of this?
Yes, okay. That's why it's good to have mentors and people that you look up to. I had an uncle who was a banker. Maybe one of my favorite uncles and all these kind of things. So you want to be like him.
Yes.
So he was a chartered accountant. He went into banking.
Wow.
So I just followed that footstep. And then the rest is hard work, but God too. No. That's also very important.
We'd like you to just drop one word for that youth that's watching.
Youths.
Yes. I know you have a lot of programs for us, but motivation-wise, you can do it.
No, you can. Actually, for me, the future is bright in Nigeria.
Yes.
Truthfully, and I'm not being funny. See what we're talking about with the open banking. Somebody has to run those companies, those fintechs, So I do see a lot of our youth going abroad, and I understand it's not particularly easy today the way they see it. But I think they should look at it anyway. I work in FirstBank today. Somebody has to run FirstBank.
Actually,
these fintechs we're talking about, somebody has to run fintechs. The radio station here, and we're growing every day. So I really think, follow your passion, but there's something here for you. Because the economy is growing. It might not be growing as fast as we want,
but it is growing.
There is something else. We're about to finish our career path. It's the youth that will take over.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you as our guest today. Thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule to join us today.
The pleasure was mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching and listening. It's been FirstBank Fintech Podcast, and I'm Tomike Adeoye, your host. My super amazing co-host.
You guys have to find different words.
No, we're going to find this next episode cannot be super amazing anymore.
So I've been your co-host Fisayo for Studio. Thank you so much for watching. For more episodes, do check the link in the description below, and watch more episodes on the FirstBank Fintech Podcast.
Yeah,
we'll see you
in our
in the very next
episode. Bye.